So today we have Carnage from Let There Be Carnage taking on William Dafoe's Green Goblin. Who wins? Oh, let's find out. Well, as always, we have to start off with strength. Who is stronger? Well, Green Goblin casually sent people flying with one hand slash punch. He routinely fought against Maguire Spider-Man, stopping a punch from him cold, sending him flying great distances and through walls, and just beating the living snot out of him. He also routinely fought against Tom Holland's Spider-Man, matching and overpowering him, powerbombing him through a floor, and then tackling him through multiple floors of a building, breaking his ribs in the process. But Carnage casually shattered a big metal cage, through cars with relative ease, easily destroyed a metal vault, destroyed a helicopter, and overpowered Venom and sent him flying through a stone pillar, even restrained Venom as well. I'd say they're fairly even here, with Carnage having a slight edge, just because, he's bigger. Uh, but now, moving on to durability. Well, Goblin has withstood several hits from Maguire Spider-Man, being sent flying and having a small brick wall crushed on top of him, and he was just fine. He also withstood attacks from Tom Holland's Spider-Man. Even when he was punching Norman in the face repeatedly, Norman just started smiling psychotically, like it didn't hurt at all and he was enjoying it. And even during their final fight, when Peter wasn't holding back and was literally beating the crap out of him, there weren't any there weren't even any bruises or anything, and he was still, again, smiling. Uh, his armor also increases his durability as well, but Carnage was just as tough, if not tougher than Venom. Bullets did nothing to him, and he easily withstood Venom's attacks as well. And although he shared the same weaknesses as Venom, which are fire and high sound frequencies, he endured both of these types of attacks like a champ. A sonic scream from Shriek only temporarily slowed him down and it more pissed him off than anything, and he was able to keep on fighting after being hit with a homemade flamethrower for a prolonged period of time. He also had a great healing factor equal to that of Venom's, allowing him to instantly heal his and Cassidy's wounds, no matter how severe they were. Both of them are psychotic, which allowed them to push their bodies beyond their already superhuman limits, but I would give this edge to Carnage because of his healing factor. Now on to speed. Well, I'm just going to say that they're fairly even here. I mean, Carnage was able to match Venom's speed, who was really fast, and he was even able to create holes in his body to dodge bullets, while Goblin was able to match McGuire's and Holland's Spider-Man speed, which is especially impressive on Holland's side since he was dodging point-blank machine gun fire from drones that were invisible. And not to mention, he doesn't have a spider sense or anything like that of his own. And he's still able to match the two, both of them. But overall, I'd say Carnage is physically better. But Norman can definitely hold his own. Now on to their versatility. Goblin's main weapon is his glider. It allows him to fly really fast with great mobility, and it had these long retractable blades in the front of it. He could also control it from this device on his wrist. It also housed all of Goblin's gadgets, most noticeably his pumpkin bombs, which are basically grenades, and one was able to destroy the magic box in No Way Home. He also carried these razor sharp bladed discs that he could throw, and he had a retractable blade in his arm. But Carnage had his tendrils and shape-shifting ability. Like Venom, Carnage could project any number of tendrils from all over his body, and they were able to restrain and send Venom flying. With his shape-shifting, he could create large holes in his body to dodge bullets, elongate his limbs, even his tongue, create these machine gun-like things at the end of his tendrils, create these spikes at the end of his tendrils, and he could turn his hands into weapons like large blades and hammers and whatnot. So, who wins? Well, Carnage's biggest problems in this fight is dealing with Goblin's flight and his pumpkin bombs. I'm sure Carnage could separate Norman from his glider, but those bombs are going to be a huge problem for him, as they're not just exploiting his weakness to fire, but also his weakness to loud sounds, as, explosions are loud. So even if he evaded the fiery explosion, the sound would still get him. Not to mention, Goblin is willing to just throw multiple bombs at once, and Carnage has a big problem on his hands. But I will admit, Carnage uh, recovered from these attacks faster than Venom ever has, plus his healing factor on top of that. I will also say that in a straight up fight, I highly doubt there's a way Goblin can win. In a hand to hand fight, it ain't happening. Carnage, he's bigger, he's stronger, he's tougher, plus his tendrils and his shape shifting, plus the fact that the rest of Goblin's arsenal is really ineffective to Carnage. Goblin's psychopathy is what really allowed him to fight against both Holland's and Maguire's Spider Man, but Cassidy's psychopathy is what made Carnage more powerful and dangerous than Venom, who I said would beat all three of the live action Spider Man in 1v1s. Goblin could win with his pumpkin bombs, but I think it's more likely that Carnage endures the early bombs, separates Goblin from his glider with a tendril or something, and then kills him in a straight up fight. It's an interesting fight, but I think he could honestly separate him from his glider, seeing how he was able to destroy, a helicopter with his tendrils. He could easily just separate Goblin from it. And Goblin's armor hasn't even shown to be bulletproof. So I'm sure if he spiked one of his tendrils, it could even pierce through it, just like his glider did in Maguire's first movie. So yeah, Goblin could win, but I'm siding with Carnage. Like and subscribe if you did enjoy. Leave a comment of what you think and hit the notification bell to be notified of all my future videos and all the great stuff. Have a great day. Peace.